So this is digital printed off of our printer. This right here is basically considered the carbon stealth that we have to order. This is a color change material, which is $100 a yard our cost, okay? I don't think it looks good.
All right, we're back. We are picking up the Model X. They're just finishing up the last little second of tint. There's a little fiasco with that Jesse will fill us in on, but Jesse's gonna walk us around the car, tell us the good, the bad, the ugly, the stuff that stands out more now with some of Tesla's notorious alignment issues, some little dings and stuff that now show that were there when we picked up the car, but now you can see it. But overall, it looks awesome. We're happy with it, but Jesse is a perfectionist, so he's gonna take us through it. So I'll just hand that over to you.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start in the front. Okay, so a couple of things that we had talked about in the beginning is, what are we gonna do here? Originally, this is a gloss black. We also had chrome going on here, so we want to be able to tie in the front of the vehicle, with the wrapped bumper. So what we did on this, we took the emblem off. We went ahead and painted it into a matte black. And then this right here is not even wrapped. We went ahead and did a paint protection film over the top, which is a matte paint protection film. So we didn't have to go ahead and change the color of that. Right now, at this point in time, it's protected, ready to take rocks. So that kind of ties in the front. Into the front bumper, and then moving along over to the sides.
And then also headlights and those lights.
Headlights and all the good stuff on the front here, fully protected out.
That is PPF as well.
Yeah, you're good to go there. And then all the cameras on the side on a lot of these guys typically blend in, especially on a black car and things like that. But then you start getting into colored cars and things like that. The best way to tie these together is with a little bit of carbon fiber, just like we did on the mirror, which I definitely think was a good call. Went with matte on that as well. And this is a digital printed carbon fiber that we printed here in-house. So we've got it pretty dialed in. So if anybody needs carbon fiber digital print, this is pretty much about as true as we can get versus...
It's funny, you showed this next to the other stuff that comes carbon fiber.
Comes casted, yep.
And I think this looks better.
Yeah, it's got a little more depth to it, a little more true to the style of carbon with the way that the coloring kind of goes together. But at the end of the day, there's no substitute for real carbon other than a pocketbook. So, but in this case, I'm not even sure they even make carbon mirrors for this. So, yeah, just tie it together. So. Moving on from there, a little bit of challenges on the tint. I don't know if you guys have ever worked on Teslas, things like that, especially at home, anything like that. Windows have been kind of fun because we do have to trick these things. So our cut files that we get from our manufacturer were close, but not quite exact, because you'll notice on this window, we've had to trick it. So the car thinks that the door is closed right now. So you'll notice this thing creeps up almost an inch. Most cars is about a ½ inch to a ¼ inch, roughly. So this guy pops up quite a bit. So we had to trick it to be able to get the material down into the gasket here, along with pulling the glass out to be able to sneak in this gap here so we don't have any snags there. So it's been a bit of a challenge, along with being able to put it together with no dust. So it's been a fun one. It's a couple of redos, but that's par for the course at this point. So good old Tesla never makes it easy, and it looks easy at the beginning. So. Another thing to kind of take a look at here, this is kind of factory little deal. So a lot of these are now epoxied on. So we're seeing some epoxy dripping and that kind of stuff that we noticed on this.
Yeah, that little chunk in here.
Yeah, but it's definitely hardened. It's not going to really chip out. So definitely not the ideal quality control we want to see, but all in all, not horrible for sure. Moving over to the other side here, let's kind of take a look. Kind of the same thing. Cameras are covered. In fact, when we do this full wrap as well, everything has been ceramic coated to protect the matte. So we go ahead and ceramic coat even the front of the camera lenses, so they can't even get scratched either. So that's just one of the benefits of, as we're coating over the top, we coat over any of those areas that are a little bit sensitive, just because it doesn't take anything extra to do so. We move along on the sides. We went ahead and opted for green trim all the way around. This can be done in many different ways. It was black, gloss with the actual vehicle itself, so we decided to go green on it. Definitely ties it together nice. Some options could include, you could go carbon on this, you could go matte black, but I think the green really ties it together, especially since we already have this high gloss black with the windows. So definitely ties everything together on the sides for a nice clean look. And then moving over here to the back, we basically did kind of the same similar thing on the back of this thing with the emblem. Went ahead and painted it matte black. Nice carbon accent on the wing. And then underneath, we left everything gloss black, so it ties into the glossiness of the window. So it's nice and super clean there. Tesla pops through. Emblem went back onto the same spot right on top of the wrap. So super clean at the end of the day. for the end of this thing. And then the last couple little deals that we found on this thing, a nice little dent there, right from factory. Probably wouldn't have been able to see it real well on the gloss, but as soon as you start putting matte on a vehicle, any type of blemish that you have on a vehicle, you're gonna see it super easy. So definitely a good idea to make sure that you get those taken care of at the end of the day. But the last little piece that we found, which really wasn't a big deal for us as far as the install goes, but now that we have the matte on, you can really kind of tell that this little piece right here on the back isn't quite set flush on here. So that's definitely, you know, the last little piece of what we found direct from the factory of just a not quite square.
Also, a thing that we didn't realize before until now is how that door sits. You were saying that too.
Yeah.
How this,
Yep, and in fact, I was actually just telling Todd a second ago, because I noticed that there's some areas here that just don't quite line up, especially right here. You've got about a 1/4 inch difference in the trim here, so there's definitely some alignment issues. And I do believe because of this here is the reason why, if you follow back to the back of the vehicle, there's a gap up top that you can see from the back, that this window up top, I'm not 100% sure how well it's sealed, because you can see up top there's a nice little gap there versus the passenger side. So just a little bit of alignment issues, these types of things, but as fast as they're trying to push these cars out and make numbers, you know, these are pretty minor things for the most part. You know, the nice part about what I'm seeing on these new Teslas versus, you know, ones that are a couple years old is a lot of this trim and pieces on these vehicles were just sticky taped on. And so in the event of an impact, a lot of these pieces are going to fly off. So they are circling back. A lot of these pieces are now epoxied on that were just double stuck on. So, you know, a little more solid, long-term durability, and I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing, especially with the new models for sure. So
I know in the summary you're pointing out all the little imperfections because
we see it every day.
Yeah, right. But all in all, I mean, this video shows you several days of this wrap process. It's definitely more involved, honestly, than I thought to begin with, as far as like labor and time intensive. I mean, every time I stopped over here, these guys are like working on it from sun up to sundown pretty much. And I think that's probably what separates this type of wrap that you guys do here versus maybe someone that gets this out like in a couple of days, right?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we probably could whip this thing out in maybe 3 days, all hands on deck. But what ends up happening, you have guys working on top of each other. You know, it's a really good idea on stuff like this, to where what we did in a situation, we took one of our installers, we made it his project for the week, so the focus was always there. You know, he knew exactly what he needed to do from start to finish. And a lot of when you're wrapping cars, a lot of wrap guys don't talk about this, but what ends up happening is we get a car in, or even beforehand, we go home and we think about this. We lose sleep over wrapping cars, because until it's done, we're thinking in our brain, how are we going to get this done? How are we going to get it done perfectly? You know, and there's always little challenging points, whether you've done 10 of these or you've only done one. You know, you're still going to lose a little bit of sleep over thinking about these different things that you want to do to get that end result, you know. And, you know, we definitely don't want to see guys losing sleep, but it's kind of par for the course as far as, you know, just thinking about what you got to do to make it happen in a timely manner and get it done perfect, you know. And that's what the expectation is. That's pretty much what we sold you. Yeah. And we wanted to make it that way. So
awesome, cool. And then last thing too, I'm not sure if you mentioned that you ceramic coated everything. I know you're talking about the cameras and all that, but ceramic coating doesn't necessarily look all that much different. It's just more or less, it's going to wash differently. It's going to clean up easier.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we did the entire surface of all the wrap that we did on here. You can't even tell the difference. The only time you're going to tell the difference is within the first 30 minutes that we're putting this coat on. Like when I coat one panel, you can put it next to the other. Even though they look the same, this one has a little more vibrant green to it. Then, of course, as it starts to dry out, you have that full protection. The other nice part about when we ceramic coat these, especially on a matte surface, is now it's super easy to clean. If you've ever had a matte vehicle or a matte paint job, they get dirt really easy, fingerprints stick to them, so it makes it really difficult to wipe off. So with this situation, you know, you can pretty much do whatever you want to it. It's gonna make it nice to clean. You're not gonna have dust sticking to it, and most of all, you're not gonna have the fingerprints where all the door panels are, that kind of stuff. And if you do, they just wipe right off because they really can't stick to the ceramic coating. So it's gonna make it nice. And the other part about this, two things towards the long-term durability of the actual wrap, is this thing is it's gonna last a little bit longer. You're not gonna get quite as much fading. You know, it's definitely a good idea to get the wrap off during its lifespan, 5 to 7 years. But also the other part of it is when you're going to pull the wrap off, depending upon how degraded the wrap is going to make it difficult to pull off. So with the ceramic coated wrap, it gives a little more rigidity to that vinyl, so it makes it a little easier to pull off the vehicle at the end of its life, because it's got a little more stability to it when you're yanking the pieces off of it. It's going to keep this color looking nice for the long-term durability of this vehicle and maintain that manufacturer warranty, no problem.
Cool. Awesome.
So, yep, that's
Well,
it.
We're happy with it. We're excited to get it back. I appreciate it. Thanks
Absolutely, man.
Thanks for everything.
Hope you guys enjoy. Definitely like to get some
Yeah.
footage of it out on the road and that kind of thing. So
well, in about 2.5 weeks, we'll have a different set of wheels here too.
nice,
And
nice.
so then it'll be pretty much complete.
I'm sure we'll be back at the track too again soon, huh?
Yeah, for
cool.
sure. For
Cool.
sure. Cool.
Awesome, guys.
All right, everyone. So again, sticker status out here in Boise, Idaho. And they do all kinds of stuff. They do wraps, they do stickers. They're fulfilling orders for people all over the world, really.
Pretty much, yeah. If it prints, we pretty much make it.
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
So I'll make sure I put their info in the description below.
See you guys.